Hi everyone, welcome to the Classic Bookcase, a channel that shares knowledge and comprehensive personal development through good books and videos. Today is a sharing post through the classic novel The Alchemist with the title Where Does True Motivation Come From? Please listen with me. When we are in our 20s, many of us ask ourselves what our dreams are, what we really want to do. Then at the age of 25, we ask ourselves if we have really made an effort to achieve our dreams. Is this the right path that follows our hearts and our desires? And when we are 30 years old, once again we ask ourselves, if our dreams have not been realized for so long, should we start now? If you are still feeling lost in life, still living with an uncertain heart, then with reading this book, The Alchemist, you will be able to find your own answer. The Alchemist has been published for over 30 years, translated into 81 languages and sold in over 170 countries. In Brazil, its fame is comparable to that of God and football. The reason why this book has such a big impact is because when we read this book, we can all see a glimpse of ourselves somewhere in the story. The Alchemist tells the story of a shepherd boy named Santiago. To fulfill his dream, he did not hesitate to sell his entire flock of sheep, which was his entire fortune. He overcame many difficulties to fulfill his dream of finding a treasure in the desert. This is a parable and also a very simple story, but it has changed the hearts of hundreds of millions of readers. This is also the spiritual journey of the author. At the age of 17, the author Paulo Coelho was rebellious and was sent to a mental hospital by his parents. When he grew up, he was even imprisoned for opposing the dictatorship. At the age of 38, the author still seemed to be unable to do anything. He embarked on a pilgrimage on foot for nearly 600 kilometers to Santiago de Compostela, Spain. This trip lasted for more than 3 months, which gradually calmed his restless heart. He then put his understanding and insights from this trip into the story of the shepherd boy's search for treasure. After The Alchemist was published, it ignited the hearts of countless people who were confused and lost in life. He also became the only Latin American writer who can be compared to Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the author of the immortal novel 100 Years of Solitude. The Alchemist tells us that if a life without purpose will only be a chaotic maze, all who step into it will spend their whole lives in a series of worries just to find a way out. If you are too concerned about gains and losses, you will always miss your dreams. The character Santiago was born into a very ordinary family in Spain. His parents only lived on a few acres of land. As soon as he was born, they placed all their hopes in him. They sent him to a seminary with the hope that he would become a priest and be the pride of the family. Being a priest would be a very stable life. But that was not Santiago's desire. One day, he plucked up the courage to tell his father that he did not want to become a priest. His dream was to travel, to go to different places to explore the world outside. Although his father strongly opposed it, he could not persuade someone who had really made up their mind. In the end, he had to compromise and agree to let his son try his luck. He gave him 3 gold coins and said, "Buy sheep and live a life that you want." These 3 gold coins were not only a compromise from his father, but they also symbolized his praise and resonance from the bottom of his heart. Because the father himself, as a young man, also had a desire to travel everywhere. In the novel The Alchemist, each character has a dream. Santiago's father wanted to travel the world, the popcorn vendor on the side of the road dreamed of going to Africa, the crystal shop owner dreamed of going to the desert, and even the bandits near the pyramids had a dream of finding treasure. However, due to many reasons, they gave up on their dreams and only left behind regrets. No matter what the reason is, it is always about the calculation between gains and losses. This calculation has obscured the original intention and desire of the heart. If we do not have the courage and perseverance to pursue what we truly desire, we will never be able to overcome the fear of the unknown. Santiago broke through the comfort zone of reality by leaving his hometown alone and becoming a shepherd to live the life he wanted. In 2 years, he learned many skills of a shepherd, saw many beautiful landscapes, and met many people. He thought that his life would be peaceful with his current life. However, once again, like a signal from the universe sent to him through a dream, he dreamed of a boy leading him to Egypt and telling him that there was a treasure nearby. What does this dream mean? Then he met an old man known as the King of Salem, who told him that this dream was his destiny. The treasure was very attractive, but the current life was more realistic. Santiago hesitated. If he went to find the treasure, he would have to give up what he had now. Like everyone else, he almost lost himself. If you are too concerned about gains and losses, you may lose what really makes up your destiny. As the King of Salem said to the shepherd boy, "What is called destiny is what we really want to do." This statement immediately awakened Santiago's passion. Wasn't his lifelong dream to see the vast world outside? Santiago followed the call of his heart and chose to set out to fulfill his dream. You need to know that the most magnificent deception in life is when you give up, bow your head to reality, and say that it is too late. This is my destiny. I have to accept reality. But in fact, destiny is not something that makes you regret. Destiny is something that you really want to do. People still wonder whether they will regret what they dream of doing or what they have done. According to a study, for most of the things that people have done, if they fail, they will only regret for a short time because they did not do their best. Over time, they will gradually rationalize it and no longer feel regret. However, for the things that we really want and have not been able to achieve, we will ponder them day by day, regret our whole lives, and it is difficult to forget for the rest of our lives. Because we cannot rationalize it and we cannot convince ourselves. A writer once said that because we do not take the first step, dreams will always be far away. Dreams cannot stand the weight and they are also afraid of discouragement. Just like red-hot steel in the fire, it can only be bent into the desired shape when it is tempered in high temperature at the right time. Once it has cooled down, it becomes more difficult to shape. Therefore, when your long-cherished dream is being awakened, take action immediately. Take the first step in pursuing your dream while the enthusiasm is still there. Even if we may not be able to reach it in the end, in our daily efforts, we will always see ourselves becoming better and better. In the early days in Africa, the character Santiago also suffered 2 major blows. First, he faced a language barrier. Second, he met a man who spoke Spanish, who he thought was a true friend, but who ended up stealing all his money. Just yesterday, when his future was still bright, he was now penniless. He felt like he was about to collapse at any moment. He remembered that he still had 60 sheep, but now he had nothing. He was lonely and lost in a foreign land. At this moment, he remembered the words of the king of Salem, who had told him that when you are determined to do something, the whole universe will help you achieve it. These words gave him great confidence and courage. The next day, he packed his things and was ready to wander the streets in search of opportunities. Life sometimes gives us a blow, and sometimes it also brings us hope. As long as you have a pair of eyes that believe, are good at detecting problems that need to be solved, and are always willing to help others, you will be fine. Santiago found a crystal shop on the street, but it was quite slow. Through observation, he suggested to the owner that the crystals needed to be cleaned in order to attract more customers. He would help him polish all the crystals for free, only in exchange for a meal. When the owner still didn't agree, Santiago took the initiative to wipe the glass bottles. Unexpectedly, he attracted 2 customers as soon as he wiped them. So he was hired. But his dream of going to Egypt was to travel thousands of kilometers across the desert, which could not be enough money to go in a day or 2. In the process of pursuing dreams, there will be times when we will feel the most desperate, that is, when we work extremely hard for a long time, but only to find that our dreams are still too far away. Santiago was also very sad about this, but he still had to stay at the crystal shop. He temporarily stopped thinking about his dreams and focused on making money. Sometimes he had great ideas to improve the business of the store. A year later, Santiago had doubled his original money. Moreover, he not only learned about business, but also spoke Arabic. For someone who has a clear goal in their heart, the difficulties and obstacles before them are no longer injustice or torture, but are seen as a challenge to temper ourselves and a stepping stone for us to grow. Letting go is the only way to reach the shore of dreams. Santiago had 2 choices. One was to live a wealthy business life now, and the other was to set out to pursue his dream. At that time, the crystal shop owner always tried to persuade him to stay, but Santiago's ears were still ringing with the words of the king of Salem. He must always remember what he wants. So he gave up the wealthy life in front of him and chose to continue pursuing his dream. Santiago then continued his journey, crossing thousands of kilometers. He came to a small oasis, where he met a beautiful girl named Fatima. The moment he looked into the eyes of this girl, Santiago's heart was filled with waves of love at first sight. After a long time, he fell in love with this girl deeply. He even had the intention of giving up his dream and staying in this oasis to be with his lover forever. But the dreams about the alchemist made Santiago, who was in love and was about to lose himself, wake up. Giving up his dream would cause him to regret for the rest of his life, and the person he loved would also live with him with a heavy heart for the rest of her life. After seeing his own heart, Santiago was determined to pursue his dream and decided to go to Egypt. Santiago encountered numerous major challenges when he embarked on the quest for the Egyptian treasure. While crossing the desert, he was captured by military soldiers and all of his money was taken away. He faced a situation where he had to turn himself into wind within 3 days, otherwise he would lose his life to the soldiers. In the face of this impossible challenge, he still kept his spirit. He used all his love and heart to communicate with the sun and the wind, feel the soul of the world, connect with all things, and strive to understand the language of the universe. With the encouragement and inspiration of the alchemist, he finally challenged the impossible and turned himself into wind. When he arrived at the pyramids, he did not find the treasure, but was robbed by bandits and beaten all over his body. But from the words of the bandits, he learned that the exact location of the treasure was in his hometown. When you truly have a dream that you always want to achieve, and it always exists in your heart, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how hard you have to work in life, it will not be able to make it difficult for you. Just as nature once said, a person who knows why he lives can endure any life. And the author himself also revealed that when you have the ability to realize your dreams, it makes life more interesting. Each of us has unlimited potential in life, and the process of pursuing dreams always contains endless joy. Maybe the dream will not come true, but in the process of pursuing it, you will have happiness, you will have real joy, and you will definitely become a better version of yourself. Just like the character Santiago in this book, he crossed the sea, crossed the desert, went to this place and that place, went in a circle, and finally returned to the starting point to find the treasure. It seems like a waste of time, but in fact, what he saw and heard on the way, the people and things he met, made his whole life more meaningful. Even if Santiago didn't find the treasure, the life he experienced was incredibly interesting. All the ups and downs are experiences that make up his journey of maturity. Life should not be the days we have lived, but the days that are worth remembering. Dear friends, please remember that when you have a dream, you must pursue it. Never give up your dreams in your heart, no matter how realistic they are. Keep your dreams in the warmest place in your heart. No one can stop you from living the life you want, except you. You must believe that all motivation must come from the inner excitement of yourself. You must believe that there is no tomorrow that you cannot reach. The rest of your life, I hope that all of us can face the true desires in our hearts, bravely move towards our dreams, take responsibility for our own lives, and make them shine. Thank you for listening to the channel that shares knowledge for comprehensive development through good books. If you find today's video useful, please share it with those who need it. Support me with a like, follow, and turn on notification bell to watch my latest videos every week. And if you have any feelings or thoughts, please share them in the comments section below. Thank you, goodbye, and see you in the next videos.